All right, so shall we call to order the planning board meeting? January 27th, Monday, January 22nd, 6:01 PM. Do we have a motion to waive the reading of the information on this agenda?
So
Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, move to a vote.
Dave,
Thank you, Kristen, I, Allison, I. And the motion passes. Okay, great. So first thing on the agenda is the open forum. Does anybody have open forum open?
So pending a background check going through, I accepted a position at the conservation department, so I won't be able to serve on this board if I get a job. So this may be one that I'll ask them.
Oh, it's like a blessing, and not so much blessing,
You know, you can't work for the town and be on a committee, so,
which makes sense. Okay.
yeah.
And so which position is this? The,
Under Nancy's info.
Okay.
Replacing Debbie.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
that would be great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I'll learn a lot. I'll be sitting with Emily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you find out?
So tentatively I start on the 29th. I'm just waiting for my background check to.
Oh,
clear.
okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Ellen.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so then we'll have one vacancy and you're not running.
Correct.
And, is there any, Keith is leaving too. He's not running either, so then we have two vacancies at the election and one. So if it's, so how does anybody know how we do this without?
I'm gonna have to check in with Debbie, with my team to see if I can stay through my term, because my term is gonna end in March. I'm not collecting signatures anymore to.
Okay.
Yeah, the way it works, is the select board can appoint someone to finish Alice's term if they want to, but otherwise, because you're up in March.
That person would have to run in March anyway.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so we have three vacancies.
Yeah.
Three
Oh
vacancies.
my gosh, I've never seen that. It's crazy.
Okay. All right, well, so we'll be very sad to see you go.
thank you. I got a job at the conservation department, Keith.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, but I won't be able to serve on this board.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's too good.
Yeah. It is, that is.
Yes.
Anybody have anything else for open forum? No? Okay. Move along. We've got three administrative items. Why don't we go ahead and vote, since there are two that are ZBA cases, why don't we, go ahead and we do not have any minutes, correct, Emily?
No, we'll be on the next agenda.
All right, so we just have two items under administrative items, so why don't we go ahead and discuss, each one individually? The first one is ZBA case, 2024-1-01, appeal for 160 Marshall Street.
Just note that I represent people, who are involved in this matter, so I'm recusing myself from any discussion or involvement in this before this board.
Okay. Everybody else good to move forward? Okay. So, is there any discussion on this? Thoughts? Do I ask him?
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk? Okay, I'm still, okay. Do we have anybody from the audience who'd like to talk about 160 Marshall Street? Looks like you. Are you Mr. Huss?
Yes,
Okay, so you are appealing the ZOE's denial of a permit?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we put in an application for that. I don't really know what this board's role in that would be.
It's completely advisory, CJ.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you would put in comments or advice, so I wanted to come just to see what.
If we had any comments and anything that you could help.
Yeah, what your comments would be, if I needed to amend we needed to add information that you guys felt was relevant to it. But just looking at the way it's presented on this case file, I see some errors with that already that are problematic. It states appeal to zoning enforcement officer removal order, which required removal of two accessory structures and utility lines within the WPOD. one of those structures isn't in the POD, so that is incorrect, just on the face. So there's a lot of incorrect information about it, so I just wanted to make sure I was here to correct the record on it. It's gotten really messy just from the beginning of it, so I just wanted to make sure if there was any discussion that I would be able to clear up any of those
All right, thank you for being,
issues, so.
thank you for being.
But I just wanted to point that out, first of all, just on the record at that part. And I don't know if you can correct that or. make a
That's
difference,
just a
but-
function of,
Yeah,
the-
just so you
of
know.
the description
Sure. Understood.
of the notice that was provided for the ZBA
Now,
hearing.
what does Lauren do though? Does Lauren just throw the?
And
Yeah.
quite frankly, if the notice is wrong,
Yeah,
we can fix it, and,
Sure.
and I understand your argument about one of them's not even in the WPO.
I just figured more, I imagine Lauren just wrote that up, just kind of,
Yeah.
is that sort of how it functions? Is that how she does it?
Yeah.
So. She just-
But,
She got lots
I'm
of-
sure that'll get cleared up at the zoning board.
Yes, okay. But if you, in anything else. I know you don't really count on those things, you just kind of. Let them do it, so.
Thank you. All right, does the board have any questions, thoughts?
I have a question. So in the packet, it says the order requires removal of the offending structures from the properties. The structures have been removed from the WPOD. But just more, like one of them is not in, one of them still isn't, right?
No, they're both out, and utilities are out,
Gotcha.
so it's moved basically. They're both moved out of it, so.
Any other
That was one of my question about that.
So do we want to, help me with this? Do we make a motion to, just to defer it,
Defer to
defer to the ZBA?
the ZBA.
Do we have a motion to defer to the ZBA?
So moved.
For a second,
Second.
any discussion? It definitely seems like something that would be better suited for the ZBA. A lot of, yes, so, all right, seeing no other discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Abstain.
Keith, aye.
Kristen, I,
Green, aye.
Allison, I.
Dave, do you need to say your name?
Oh, Dave, I abstain.
Thank you. I don't know.
He only has to say his name if we have people attending remotely.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, the motion passes. We will defer this to the ZBA. Thank you for coming, CJ.
Stick around.
Sure, please.
See what else you got going on.
Okay. Next up, we have another ZBA case, 2024-02, special permit for 273. This is the applicant proposes to operate a home massage therapy wellness office. It looks like we don't have anybody here for that. Do we have, any thoughts or discussion here on the board? Not? This again is really a ZBA issue, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd go to the ZBA as well, and there's also this mention of a sign on it, which I don't think we can act on.
yeah, there's no signed permit requested.
Yeah.
So,
So it needs to be an additional application.
well, it depends. They can put things right on the house. We'll see what it is. So,
Okay. All right, so seeing no other discussion, do we have a motion to defer this to the ZBA without comments?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Any discussion? All right, call for a roll call vote.
Dave, I.
Keith, aye.
Kristen, I.
And
Allison, I.
Motion passes. We will defer that to the ZBA. All right, next up, moving right along. Next up is the working groups for planning projects. And since, has everybody had a chance to read this?
Yeah.
yes,
So we have two members who are asked to be on two different groups who will not be with us much longer. So Ellie, I have a question. Did Chris put these together? Okay. So, how do we move forward? because Wayne is just you and me, right? You, me and Jen.
Yeah, so. So when I looked at this, I would like to be on the House Corner Advisory Committee.
Okay.
Because I have to drive through there 15 times a day.
Okay,
And to take Dave's spot on that.
Okay.
And then, I think you should pick the one you want, and then we'll assign the other ones out when people
right,
start to populate the board again.
right. I think Scott's got the codification. I have,
Which makes sense.
right, because he's been working on that. And I have the inclusionary zoning, which is actually, if you look at the purpose is the same as the MBTA.
Yeah,
communities.
that's why I don't really understand why they're two separate ones. I mean, I kind of do, but there's a lot of overlap. But also the inclusionary bylaw is also very similar to the zoning codification.
Although the MBTA community Act doesn't actually require any inclusionary zoning.
Right. But I think, aren't we trying to add it to it to make it more? Okay. So, all right, well, we'll work with Scott and
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out. Okay, any other thoughts on that? No, not at this point. All right, Emily, would you just let Chris know kind of what's going on here?
Yeah, I think the select board might have to like, finalize them or approve them, I don't know.
Okay,
So I'm happy to check in with them anyway.
if they're attached, okay, sure, that'd be great. All right, so moving along. Oh, so the next thing up is the coastal resiliency. Any other discussion on the working group?
Emily, if possible, I'd still like to be involved, just not as a planning board representative.
Okay. That would be great.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right, next on the agenda is review of the coastal resiliency planner job description. I don't know if you all had a chance to read through this. This is actually, okay, it's not in here. It's it's a very back. Okay. So the idea here is that the planning board's actually been requested, it's been wanting a second planner for a while anyway. And we found with when the coastal resiliency task force was formed, we would ask Chris and talk to Chris and he would say, I have a full plate already, I have a full plate and more. So we feel like there's so much work for just as somebody, a planner focused just on coastal resiliency. So we wanted to, and it's just a reminder, just to refresh, when Scott and I went to the finance committee, and they said, well, okay, if you want another planner, well, where's the job description? Like, well, nobody's ever asked us for that. So the coastal resiliency task force, put this together. I actually went to Jeannie, got Chris's, the actual job description that's out there for the town planner, and revised it to include anything that was relevant to coastal, but made sure to put a blurb in there about that it's related to coastal, because one of the things we want to make sure that doesn't happen is if we hire a coastal resiliency planner, that they aren't then asked to actually do things which are town planner responsibilities. So pretty much 1 through 9 are very similar to the current town planner job description, but the number 10 is where we added a lot more. And we actually borrowed from a couple different local resiliency planner or coordinators and borrowed some of that language. So a lot of this actually comes from all the groups around. The whole is actually one of the most proactive right now. So we've looked to them for a lot of examples. So, so that is and I think we modified the minimum qualifications, basically. Instead of being like 3 to 7 years, we did it down to 2. Does anybody have any thoughts?
I have one suggestion.
Please.
You may want to bump up the coastal resiliency specific stuff, earlier, maybe?
Like move it in.
Into nature of work.
Yeah, maybe bump it up. That's all. I mean, maybe,
Well, it's funny because this is and so we put it out there on the initial, hey, David, and David is Amory is actually the chair of the coastal resiliency task force. We were just talking about the job descriptions.
Pardon me?
We were just talking about the job.
Oh, you were, okay.
We moved right along on our
Fantastic.
agenda.
and I just made a quick comment for what it's worth, you guys, that maybe you want to bump some of the coastal, because Chris was saying a lot of the first 9 paragraphs are similar to like the town planner job description that we have up there. And just offered a suggestion that you may want to move like the coastal resiliency centric stuff up earlier and highlight it up front. It's not, 6 1 half dozen the other, but
Well, it makes sense, otherwise it gets very, maybe that's the essential functions and that gets moved up.
yeah.
And then maybe
That's
number
great.
9 is the additional functions.
Put it between 1 and 2 right now,
Yeah.
so they can kind of see what it is. I don't know, it's a suggestion.
I like that.
What was your reasoning for why the coastal resiliency planner would report to the town manager, not like the planner?
That's how, like, so like originally, the town planner used to report to the planning board, but we worked with the town manager and redid that, so the town planner now reports to the town manager. So I think this is just in keeping with that. That change happened like maybe like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it make sense though to, David, you can actually chime in here, would it make sense to have the coastal, are you, Allison, were you basically asking if the coastal resiliency should report, planner should report to the town planner?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Are you guys thinking that they're equal? I had heard it talks of like the assistant planner, but are they gonna be equal and
That
both
might-
report to the town manager?
That might have just been an oversight when we were writing this.
Okay,
We might have missed that part.
I recall that there wouldn't be a town planner and a resiliency planner at the same level.
Oh, you
It'd be
did- we did-
I recall it'd be the planner and then the resiliency coordinator would be, working underneath the
Okay.
planner. That was my understanding.
it's not clear to me from the job description that they would be under the town planners. It's very much seems like they're equal.
Oh, that's a good question. We can certainly look at that.
I'm just wondering what kind of salary do they offer?
Or-
Oh, okay, so funding will come, will fall.
Well, just, that's.
Yes, there's actually a lot of support. We felt like there was a lot of support from the finance committee.
Yeah,
For that, but I think that that's when Jeannie Horn, the director of HR, gets involved and kind of figures out does a comparison to what other communities are offering. I don't know.
would it be a contract or?
Can I just say one thing? Obviously a lot of demand, for people like this to fill this role. And obviously the salary level is gonna have an appeal. So I think that's a really important consideration.
Yeah.
And I think the town would want to look for somebody who does have a few years of experience, not somebody coming right out of school.
Right.
I think 2 years sounds like not enough to
Not
me,
enough.
between two, I mean, I think that 2 years, that's great, but I think, somebody goes, there's a lot of various things to have to deal with,
Absolutely.
and relating to people and coordinating and teamwork and all that stuff. It takes a lot of personal experience that way, so. I would expect then to respond to what you were asking about the salary level would be an important component of that. Somebody with obviously more experience is going to be expecting a higher salary.
And what would be the process of finding someone like that?
Well, I think that's currently, the actual process through the town manager, or how do you find people who are qualified? as well?
Yeah, I'm just looking from, not from who would make the call, but I mean, I'm researching, I don't know if it's like, you go through universities who have kind of think tanks to find someone like this.
That's a great question. I think we need to give some thought to that about how do we find people?
I think with the current town planner position that's open, Chris actually worked with, Jeannie to come up with a long list of different groups. And so I would imagine we would go those same routes, but certainly be open to other things too. That was actually one of my thoughts too, the top seven master's program.
Yeah,
But I think that when I asked Chris or Jeannie, they said that they had already reached out, so. Any other thoughts, questions, additions, edits?
It's just that in number 2 here, it's supervision received. This really does look like you're working under the planner and the planning board. So the reports to us, it's gotta be, I think, the plan.
Kristen, I just saw my email from earlier today.
Sorry.
That was just one thing on, page 3, item number 10, additional functions.
Yep.
Provide support for coastal resiliency projects and programs such as, but not limited to, seawall, beach nourishment, Seacoast Economic Council, and sustainability action items. You may have already talked about this, but I think one thing that this coordinator would need to do is to be sure that whatever coastal resiliency efforts are being made, they're in coordination with, or climate mitigation, which is efforts to reduce fossil fuel use in the town. Working closely with the Alternative Energy Committee, others who are pursuing that. I know Alternative Energy Committee is keen on obviously putting together their aggregation program in town, but whatever can be done to eventually reach to zero carbon emissions, which means coming up with and working closely with those who are pursuing alternative energy, green energy. And there's also sustainable Duxbury. But in other words, other organizations in town that are working toward the climate goal, which goes beyond coastal resiliency, it
Right.
needs to be coordinated.
But if I think one of the things I said to the group was that we're really trying to focus on making sure that this is just coastal
This
resiliency.
is just coastal.
So these are sustainability goals related to coastal.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But in working in conjunction with other town groups.
I think I'm going to an alternative energy committee tomorrow. We've invited the alternative energy people to our coastal resiliency task force meetings, and the resiliency coordinator would be attending our meetings, the task force meetings. I just think it all needs to be coordinated and
Absolutely.
tied in, somebody who's familiar with green energy efforts.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
That's great.
Thank you for putting that together.
Anybody else have anything?
Nope.
Do we need to approve this, or do we just say, okay, we looked at it, pass it on to Gina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So, David, the group just made a couple suggestions about, moving up number 10, changing the reporting just to the town planner. I'll make the modification about sustainability. I'll just send it over to Gina and copy you.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much, and all of you.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. I get off
David
easy.
is our biggest cheerleader. We're very lucky to have him.
Well, good to see you.
All right, thanks. Have a
Thank you.
good night.
Take care.
All right, anybody have anything else to talk about?
Nope.
I'd like to move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.